Hi, this is Rudy Jones of PalmettoStateBaseball.com. Welcome to the South Carolina College Baseball Score List for Friday, January the 30th. It was opening day for a lot of NCAA Division II teams. In fact, we had 23 games involving state teams played on Friday. The big news came out of Aiken, where freshman Ben Shepard pitched a no-hitter in Game 2 of a doubleheader for the Pacers as they swept Mars Hill. The game where Shepard pitched the no-hitter, final score was 10-0. Game 1 score was 6-3. Shepard only walked one batter, struck out 5. He was one batter over the minimum. Of course, those wins gave Coach Keith Gorman a pair of wins in his first action as the Pacers head coach. Yariel Diaz was 5 for 7 with a double, a homer, a walk, 2 stolen bases, 4 runs scored, and 5 RBI for Aiken. So it was a pretty good team effort on both offense and at the mound. Out in Houston, North Greenville scored 6 runs in the first inning and rolled past Alabama Huntsville by a score of 12-6 in the Houston Winter Invitational. Thomas Powell tripled, homered, walked, scored 3 times, and drove in 2 for the Trailblazers in their season opener. And Jan Pospisil, was 2 for 3 with a walk and 3 runs driven in. Elsewhere, Matthew Manuel was 5 for 7 with a double in each game as Francis Marion swept Concord. The scores were 15-5 and 4-1. Ethan McAnally was 3 for 5 in Game 1 for the Patriots. Riley Orr had a single, a triple, 2 runs scored, and an RBI in Game 2. Ryan Hansen was 5 for 10 with a walk, 2 doubles, 2 stolen bases, 3 runs scored, and 4 RBI as Lander swept Erskine in a pair of games in Nick Popp's debut as head coach of the Bearcats. First game score was 12-8 over Erskine. The second game score was 10-4. In that Game 1 victory, Pip Smalley was 2 for 4, scored twice, drove in 2 runs. And in Game 2, Riley Hood was 2 for 3 and drove in 3 runs for the Bearcats. Elsewhere, Ryan Pikatoski, pardon me if his name is not pronounced correctly there, was 4 for 9 with a double, 3 runs scored, and 5 RBI as USC Sumter swept Cleveland Community College. First game score was 9-1 in 8 innings by the run rule. Second game score was 10-7. That gave new head coach Will Thompson a couple of wins in his debut. He was an assistant under Tim Medlin last year, stepped up after Coach Medlin retired. One thing I like about Will is, like me, he's a Carolina Hurricanes fan. So after the Hurricanes had that big win Thursday night, for you casual fans, they scored 3 goals in just over a minute and a half late in the game to win. And so that was a pretty good weekend for Will, getting that and the 2 wins on the field. Elsewhere, Jake Zahner singled, doubled, walked twice, and drove in 2 runs. Also scored 2 as Florence-Darlington Tech beat Gulf Coast 9-5 in the Visit Panama City Beach Classic. And then in Game 2, they played Wallace-Dothan of Alabama and won that game 7-1. In that second game, B.J. Balls and Vaughn McIntyre had 2 hits apiece for the Stingers, who won 2 games in consecutive days down at the Panama City Beach tournament. So they're rolling along pretty well. Gavin Chandler pitched 5 shutout innings in Game 1, and Southern Wesleyan withstood a late Newberry rally, had the tying run at third base, and won 6-5 over the Wolves in Game 1 of a doubleheader. In Game 2, Newberry bounced back to win by a score of 6-4 to get the series split. They had a 3-run 6th inning to overcome a 4-3 deficit en route to that win. Down in Swainsboro, Georgia, Braden Moros doubled and hit a grand slam, and Tommy Zimmerman singled, doubled, and homered to drive in 2 runs as USC Lancaster beat East Georgia by a score of 15-5 in 5 innings in Game 2 of a doubleheader. The Lancers lost the first game by a score of 10-6. Also on Friday, Clark Atlanta had 4 2-run innings and beat Claflin 8-2 on day 1 of the Willie Mays HBCU Invitational down at Rickwood Field in Birmingham. For the Panthers, Anthony Hardy had a single, a double, and drove in 2 runs. Elsewhere, Walter State, number one in the country in division and junior college rankings by perfect game, swept a doubleheader from USC Salcahatchee. First game score was 4-1. Second game score was 11-0. The Senators have now beaten Salcahatchee 5 times over the last 8 or 9 days. Again, they're number one. And in the also down in Denmark, Rio Grande completed a 4-game sweep of Voorhees with a pair of lopsided wins. Game 1 score was 16-6 in 6 innings, and the Game 2 final was 12-0 in 5 innings. For the Tigers in Game 1, Ethan Farrell was 2 for 2 with a walk, a run scored, 2 stolen bases, and an RBI. In Game 2, Donovan Hubbard was 2 for 2 with a steal, a walk, and a run scored for the Tigers. Down in Hartsville, Belmont Abbey got a homer and 6 RBI from Connor Paul and defeated Coker by a score of 13-2. That wraps up the scoring, the game scores for Friday in South Carolina. Now, there was another cancellation on Friday. The scheduled Saturday game between Mars Hill and USC Aiken was canceled. That means that now for Saturday there's only one game on the schedule, and that is North Greenville's game against Central Missouri in the Houston Winter Invitational. Unfortunately for you cheapskates like me, I do not know of any free streaming for that. There is a site, I think it's MIAA.com or something along those lines. Type that in, like MIAA and streaming, and it'll give you an option to subscribe to watch that game if you are so interested. Anyway, shaping up like it's supposed to be a snowy Saturday in Greenville and much of the state of South Carolina. I hope if it gets snow, you get snow where you are. I hope it's not too much to cause you any inconvenience. If you have kids, I hope they get to enjoy it. And I hope there are no power outages and nothing that causes you to have to go out and get in and put yourself at harm over that. Again, you can always find these scores posted at PalmettoStateBaseball.com. For the games that I have box score links, I will link to that so you can read and get more information beyond what I'm able to put on my Facebook or my website. Also, you can get updates on games in progress most of the time on my Twitter handle or X handle now of Palmetto Base. I did a lot more in-game updates today than I probably will through the rest of the season because there wasn't a whole lot going on otherwise. As the season goes along and there are other things that are distracting me, I may not be able to do as many in-game updates, but I still intend to get every final score published before the end of the day with the cooperation of all the coaches, and so far I've been getting great cooperation from the head coaches. Don't forget, I've created a new group on Facebook. It's called Palmetto State Baseball Group, and you can go there, and I want it to be a place where fans of all the 33 state college baseball teams can interact, share tidbits about games you like, favorite players, favorite memories about college baseball, things like that. Just kind of be a gathering spot for folks to talk about college baseball. Other than that, I guess that's about it. Again, I hope that you're safe during this snowstorm. And remember, Jesus loves you. This is Rudy Jones of PalmettoStateBaseball.com saying good night, God bless.